Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas Pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas Pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.
And everybody, welcome. Good afternoon, Razorback Nation. It's game day, September 15th. I got UAB here in the house tonight, this afternoon, I should say. And welcome to the Arkansas Pregame show with Marshall Foreman. I'm Jason Pattison. We're live here at Torchys Tacos on MLK in Fayetteville. And a huge thank you to Jonathan and his staff for their great hospitality since we got here this afternoon. You can click on the like and subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen to subscribe to the Hogville.net YouTube channel. You can watch all of our past shows from Otis, Dudley, Kevin, and now Marshall. Be sure to stop by either of the 2 locations located in Rogers or in Fayetteville here in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be, Marshall, the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. You can try their queso that's made in-house fresh daily with the taco of the month, which is the tailgater. Pair that with some queso or any of their damn good tacos that will open your taste buds to a whole new world. So if you're heading to Reynolds Razorback Stadium, stop by for some damn good tacos before the kickoff, which is just under 2 hours now, right down the street from Razorback Stadium. And be sure to follow us on Hogville on Twitter, Facebook, or you can find all of our content on Hogville.net, where it is always free. So the real quick here is the tailgate, my friend. That is the tailgater taco. That thing looks loaded.
They sell that here?
Yeah, they sell that here.
You should have told me that before we started.
You've been plowing that thing. And also it's got panko fried chicken tenders, also with the Diablo wing sauce, bacon, green chili queso, poblano ranch slaw with blue cheese crumbles and drizzle with honey, all over a flour tortilla. So be sure to stop by and check out any of those, this one or any of the great tacos here at Torchy. So man, I'm telling you what. It's finally game day here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's been now the 3rd week into the season, and it's kind of tough whenever you have – I mean, don't get me wrong. Little Rock is kind of still home to the Razorbacks, but it's also really tough not playing one of your first couple of games in front of the home crowd here in Fayetteville.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, it's been like that for a long time. I think even when we were up here off and on, we'd play a home game in Little Rock before we would play one here. But it is what it is. Little Rock is always going to be Little Rock. They're right there on you, and it gets loud.
It does. And speaking of loud, Arkansas was, up against a crowd last week in Stillwater where it felt like the crowd was literally on top of the players on the sidelines on the field. Whenever you're in that type of environment, it just kind of adds to a little bit of the chaos on the sidelines.
Oh, of course it does. I mean, I've seen points in stadiums like that where you trying to keep the players from climbing the bleachers because people they listen to people and it gets to them at some point, especially if you're losing.
Yeah, it does. So let's look at this UAB game for just a second. I mean, Arkansas comes into the game a 24.5-point favorite this afternoon. And there was a heartbreaking loss last weekend, and then you have the juxtapose from the first week where they won 70-0 against a severely outmanned UAPB team.
Right.
And now you go back to, I wouldn't say quite a cupcake, but I mean UAB's not they're not going to be burning the doors down today in Fayetteville.
No. I mean they're not UAPB, but they're not Oklahoma State. I mean, if Arkansas start this game off like they started the last 2 games off, I think they'll have a lead just like they did in the other two games, and should have it handled. But we have to be careful that our star quarterback and our star running back don't run out of gas.
No, yeah, and that was one of the things that we'll talk about here in a little bit is not only running out of gas in the third quarter, into the third quarter, fourth quarter, also the amount of players that were used in week 1 versus week 2. And I think that's got to be something that Sam, Bobby, Coach T. Will, they all go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this is what we did wrong. This is what we're going to do different in the future, because you can't have guys cramping up in the fourth quarter, no matter how well they hydrate, and it's hot on the field. And that's something that they have to kind of game plan through.
I mean, you have to know your players, and that's one thing. Really, really good coaches, they know just by watching their player walk off the field where they are in the gas tank.
Yeah.
I mean, they know this stuff, and I don't know if it just wasn't paying attention or what was going on, but yeah, 35 players the whole game. That don't sound like very many.
No, it doesn't. And like I said, we'll kind of go over that here just in a little bit. I do want to go over the injury report too. I haven't heard anything outside of what we received from Sam during the week, and that was you've got Patrick Kudus, which is a no-go for today still. He's having some back issues. Hudson Clark, more than likely, is not going to be a participant. He wasn't a participant in practice this week with a back issue. Looks like Jalen Braxton is going to be a go. He's questionable, but he could still be a go with a bone bruise as well. Two of the players that I saw get hurt during the game last week that I haven't heard anything about as far as a designation, which Sam has to have that designation by Wednesday now, according to SEC rules now, is you have Anton Njoku, which took that low blow to the knee in the third quarter.
Right.
After then, it was right around the 7-8 minute mark left in the third quarter. Got a low blow from a fullback in the knee. Didn't see him back the rest of the game, which gave Nico Davia a lot of run in the second half, and he did great. And the other one is Luke Has. It looked like when he had that touchdown catch, it looked like when he started to turn around, he kind of wrenched his back a little bit, and he was kind of scampering into the end zone. He kept holding his back, saying, "It's my back." And I think he was getting spasms, but I haven't heard anything else since then about that. So I take that he's going to be a full go today.
Okay, we need him. I mean,
yeah.
But, I mean, most of those really, really fast guys like that, they're fragile. They don't have enough fat on to protect a little bit of that muscle. I mean, it's crazy when it gets to that point. You think, no, he's all muscle. He shouldn't get hurt. No, you need a little bit of that fat to protect it.
Yeah.
And most of those little guys that's real fast like that, it happens. Just a little twitch. I do it.
Yeah, we're going to go over this too with special teams because they were not really special last week, and I know that's something that kind of really eats at you a little bit, doesn't it?
I mean, it does because you saw it in the first half. If you remember, if you paid attention to our punt return in the first half, it happened a couple times in the first half, and you think it would have been corrected before that turnover we got in the second half, but it wasn't.
No. It happened twice, and I think that's what's going to drive Scott Fountain crazy. Not only did it happen twice, but it happened with the same guy, Cross Johnson. And, and that's where you kind of sit there and kind of shake your head a little bit and say, maybe this guy doesn't need to be out here at this point. Maybe we need to get a different gunner out.
I mean, some players are like that. I know at one point I was like that, but then you get over it the more you do it. When I say like that, I mean once the play starts and you get into that battle, you forget exactly where you are on the field.
Yeah,
and you just don't remember. It goes away at time, so maybe it's gone by now. Who knows?
I'm sure that was something that was going to get worked out this week in practice because that's if Arkansas is going to have a chance to go to a bowl this year and make it to 6-6. Those are the things that they cannot have happen. Everything that happened in that second half cannot happen anymore going forward.
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, you can't beat yourself. I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, that game, I thought that game was over in the third quarter. I'm thinking that Arkansas just keeps doing what they're doing. They're going to be fine. But I don't think they took their foot off the gas. I think they just ran out of gas.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things that you didn't see have happen last year was guys running out of gas. Is they were taking their foot off the gas. They didn't give a damn anymore, and this year they do give a damn. So that's a huge difference. But going back to the UAB game this afternoon, starting quarterback Jared Zeno. He's got some pretty decent numbers. He's thrown for 382 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His QBR is 36.5. This is a different style of offense that Arkansas is facing, of course, than what it was against Oklahoma State last week. I see the defense pinning their ears back, right, and trying to get home in the backfield more so than they did last week, because last week it was more of keep everything in front of you, contain Ollie Gordon, let him get his 2 or 3 yards, and then get him down, which is what they did, and it worked effectively.
Oh, they did great. Their run defense was great. I was very impressed. I wasn't impressed with our pass defense.
Yeah.
I mean, because I didn't see much rush on the quarterback when they did drop back to throw the ball, and I was disappointed because those 2 defensive ends we have, they're good.
Yeah.
They just didn't – I don't think they didn't show up last week. I think they practiced that whole week probably on stopping Gordon.
Yeah.
And they just the run defense.
Yeah, and that was something that was apparent from, the first gun of the game was we're making sure we're going to keep everything in front of us, which is exactly what they did, and then we're going to make Alan Bowman beat them with his arm. And you saw how ineffective he was through the first 3 quarters, and honestly what the difference in the game was the rushing on Taylor Green and getting him into a situation where he was out of rhythm. They didn't do that with Alan Bowman because of Ollie Gordon. But this week, I think that you're going to see a lot more pressure on Zeno and trying to force him to make some reads that he probably wouldn't normally make, giving some of these DBs an opportunity to go up for a couple of interceptions.
I mean, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Even though we what was it? The first interception we got last week was number 15. What's his name again?
Jaheim Singletary.
Okay, which he needed that because from my watching, he was struggling in the game.
Yeah,
and that interception was a big one. We'll take it, but
that was the first turnover the defense has made all season.
Really?
Yes. If you think about it, they didn't get. They did not. They. I don't know. I don't think they recovered a fumble, and I know that they didn't intercept a pass against UAB. This defense was opportunistic last year. They led the nation in pick sixes for most of the year. I think they ended up tying or were in second. And Marcus Woodson and Travis Williams pride themselves on turnovers, and it hasn't happened the first 2 games of the season. I think this is where they try to make their stamp on the season, saying, hey, this is where we're turning it around.
Hey, it's still early.
Yeah.
It's still early. It can happen. I'm waiting. I'm wanting it to happen.
Is there somebody in particular that you're looking for on the defensive secondary today that could possibly turn that tide a little bit, that you might be kind of zeroing in a little bit?
No, I haven't got to the point to me watching the games to where I picked that person yet. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll tell you who I am impressed with as far as a cover guy. Number 3.
Danico Slaughter.
Yes, I'm impressed.
Transfer from Tennessee.
That kid, I like him. He's full speed all the time. He's wired the whole time. I like his play. I mean, which we all know that knows defense that gets you in trouble sometimes. But
yeah,
hey, he's the one right now. But as far as the safeties, I'm waiting on one of them to jump out at me and say, okay, this is the guy. This is that ball hawk. That you need a ball hawk back there for your safety.
Sam talked about Danico a couple of weeks ago. He said there's one of those guys that you do not want to see on the other side of the ball. He said, he scares me in practice. He said, whenever you see him going full speed, basically he's a nickel, but right. They call it the hog.
Right.
And he said that, when you see him line up and he's coming across after you or he's on a blitz, he said, I get kind of scared for the quarterbacks that are back there because you want him to make sure he's letting up in time, but he plays with such ferocity that I feel like it's an embodiment of what both of the coordinators are trying to, put on these defensive players and getting them to play to that level. I just want to see if he can kind of kind of make that spread across the water on the defensive backfield, because you've got some young guys back there. Let's not get it wrong for just a second, because, I mean, Hudson Clark is one of your guys, and he's hurt right now.
Hudson is one of my guys. Definitely. I mean, that kid, I like his play. I like him because he's full speed all the time, and he's going to give you 110% the whole time. And he gets in trouble because he's so aggressive. But I know what I'm getting out of Hudson. I'd like to see him playing more. I saw him come in on, I guess, in the nickel package last week early in the game. But then once he got hurt, I didn't see him again. But, yeah, I'd like to see Hudson play a little more.
All right, yeah, and also quick, Clarence Nichols, we are here at Torchys Tacos here in Fayetteville off of MLK. If you look just right behind us over there, you'll see Razorback Stadium in the background. That's a little bit of an intentional placement there. Arkansas game day here on this Saturday, September 15th. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. So keep throwing up your comments, questions, concerns. We are going to go to just a quick 2-minute break, and we'll come back. And whenever we come back, we will be discussing the Oklahoma State loss from last week a little bit more in depth, and then we'll go over that. And then we'll start to go into something that I think kind of sits a little bit close to your heart a little bit, with the induction of Raven Caldwell into the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. And so we'll go over that in the third segment. So we're going to take a quick break here at Torchys Tacos here in Fayetteville, and we'll be back in just a moment. And everybody, welcome back to the Hogville.net's Arkansas Pregame Show with Marshall Foreman. I'm Jason Pattison. Thank you all for joining us today. We are here at Torchys Tacos here in Fayetteville, just off of MLK, right down the road here from Razorback Stadium. Throw up your comments, questions, and also score predictions for today. Hey, we got Fishman back. I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. Playing teams like UAB is pointless. I'd rather be playing a bigger name school. I know that the schools try to bring in some pretty decent names, but at the same time, you've also got to have a couple of games where
everybody does it.
Yeah, everybody does
it.
You got a cupcake here or there, and that's fine. it's more of a dress rehearsal really for some of these SEC games coming up, because Arkansas's got a 4-game slot that's coming up, and it is going to be almost devastating if you were most teams. But Arkansas's prepared for it.
I mean, think about it. You're especially in the SEC. You want those couple of games like this game because you don't want to get you guys beat up that early. It's going to happen during the season anyway because you're playing SEC opponents. So that's my opinion. That's why when we go into this playoff thing, SEC looks just like a lot of the other teams sometimes. It's because they've lost so many players. I mean, they get beat up during the season. They get hurt. So they're playing with the next guy.
So I'm glad you brought that up, getting beat up and being down, having some players down, because Arkansas played with 35 players last week. That led to a lot of cramping. We saw with Jaquindon Jackson. Also, it doesn't help when you've got a road grader like Braylon Russell sitting on the sidelines, where you have Jaquindon that's getting, or JJ's getting, cramped up all over the place. You've got Rodney Hill that's getting some run, not a lot. There was a couple of times where I saw where Jaquindon, honestly, it looked like it was more of a mental lapse because of how tired and how exhausted he was, where he wasn't picking up blocks. There was a couple of blown plays as well. Whenever you were playing, I mean, how much of that really how much of that factored into executing plays?
Oh, when you get tired, it affects your brain as much as it affects your body. Trust me, it slows down your thought process, and so we all know that extra half a second or a second that it takes, that gets you beat. That's all it takes. And just watching those guys last week, you could tell. Our quarterback didn't want to come out the backfield and run the ball no more because he was so tired.
Yeah.
And he was so effective doing it in the first half.
Do you think that affected his throw to Rodney Hill that landed at his feet, which he would have had a walk-in touchdown in overtime?
Definitely.
Whenever you get to that point of a game where you're heat exhausted, you're dead dog tired, you're ready to just pack it up, go home, get cool for a little while, what do you do as far as a player to help push yourself just that little bit further to at least help execute the plays?
Well, what I think happens then is that whole lesson that he learned last week on getting tired like that, you have to make that work for you, because now you can work through being that tired. There is a point where your brain can overwrite your body and make it think you're not to that point yet.
Yeah.
I mean, marathon runners do it all the time. That's what they call hit the wall. That's why they hit the wall, because they already pushed their brain past their body saying it's time to stop. You can work past that, and hopefully he's one of those players that look back on it and say, you know what, this was embarrassing to me. I'm never going to let that happen again.
Also, Fishman says, should we be concerned about Landon Jackson if he plays bad again today? Because he's been the invisible man so far. I wouldn't say he's been quite an invisible man. I think that last week was more scheme than anything else. But in week 1, I mean, that was an undersized group of linemen, and you saw him get some run, but I think that Sam wanted to get more of the 2s and the 3s out there, and I think that's why you may not have seen so much of him.
I mean, I agree with you. You can't, just like the missed field goal last week, you don't get in your field goal kicker's head after one missed field goal. You come up for another one, let him kick it.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go for that 4th down. Let him kick the damn ball and let him prove that he can get over it. Because if you don't let him kick it now, it's going to work in his mind that, man, I missed one, so now it gets worse. But anyway, no, Landon, I think Landon's going to be fine. I think it's just, I think it was more of a matchup thing as far with him. But last week, you're right. I think it was a scheme thing. I don't think they were trying. I don't think they practiced all week about getting to the quarterback. I don't think they thought the quarterback could hurt them that much.
Yep.
I think the running back could hurt him a lot worse and we held him.
So I want to talk a little bit about the blitz that Taylor Green was seeing, because I was keeping track of it. And at one point, I thought when I was up in the press box, I was seeing more 5 guys down than 4 guys down. They were bringing more of a 4-guy front towards him in the second half than they were in the first, because they were trying to account for him in gap coverage, making sure that the backside was covered, because he was gashing him. JJ was gashing him as well. 10, 20, 30-yard chunks that they were gaining in the first half that they didn't really get in the second half until like the last 2 minutes. Whenever Jaquindon's seeing that rush, what can he do upstairs to change from what happened from week 1 or from week 2 to week 3?
Well, you have to see that before it happens. I mean, at any point you look up and you see they got more that possibly can rush than you have blocking. You have to have your hot man.
Yeah.
Someone has to be designated, and you come up and throw it now. And even if they back out of it, most of the time they can't get back to that play anyway. You're going to get 5, 6, 7 yards anyway on that play. And I never saw that last week. I mean, even when they started blitzing and getting to him, the ball should have been coming out long before they got there.
There was a couple of instances where they were putting 7 on the line of scrimmage. And what they did was they overloaded. There was a couple times I saw where they overloaded the left side, but it looked like they were overloading both sides. And they had 2 guys drop back. I saw, I think it was, I'm wanting to say it was Josh Braun and Jaquindon Jackson whiff on a guy, let him come free. And so then he started to move to the left side of the pocket where the actual rush was. Didn't hit his hot man and got a sack. Taylor cannot take sacks.
No.
He has to get the ball out. It doesn't matter which side of the sideline it is, but he has got the arm to do it. He just needs to get it out.
Yeah, I think he needs to preach to him a little more that I'd rather have that 6 or 7 yard pass than to take that sack. Do it. I mean, we may have had a deep pass on. If they're showing that many coming, get rid of the ball. Take that 5, 6 yards.
That honestly was possibly the game decider last week whenever Taylor took that sack, because it put him right out of field goal range, and then they had to punt.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that a lot of SEC defenses are going to be keying on. I guarantee you next week when they go to the Plains in Auburn, he will be seeing 5-man fronts overloaded to one side and blitzing off of the other.
Hey, I mean, if you're going to show us that hurts you, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I mean, that's what defensive football is. We're going to steal from what we saw the week before if it worked. We're going to take it, and if you show us you can't fix the problem, we're going to give it to you.
It's going to be a long day.
It'll be a long day.
Long day.
Yeah.
And so, I wanted to touch on that. Also, you have, I would say, kind of a normal game. Last week was not a normal game. It was just weird. You had one team dominate one half. You had another team dominate another half. And then all of a sudden at the 2-minute warning, and I'm going to call it the 2-minute warning because I don't like this 2-minute timeout crap that they put out there. It's stupid. They try not to be like the NFL, but yet they are just exactly like the NFL. So I call it the 2-minute warning. At the 2-minute warning, neither team wanted to win the game. It was like they were trying to hand it to each other. That's why I felt like it was so weird. But then in overtime, it got competitive, but nobody could make a kick.
Hey, I don't know what to say about that, but they both did go into a relaxed mode there for a while where whatever happens, and
hell, even the officials were off because they even told Mike Gundy during the game in the fourth quarter, sorry, coach, it's only 3 seconds. Well, if they had added if they had taken away that last 3 seconds, Arkansas doesn't kick the field goal because they kicked it with 2 seconds left.
Yeah. Because
Andrew Armstrong thank God he dropped that ball at on the right side there. Because if he catches that, game's over anyway.
Yeah. That game never should have went to overtime. I mean, it should have never went to overtime. For one, Arkansas should have gone ahead and closed that game out. And seeing how they didn't, OSU had a chance to close it out, and it didn't happen either. But you know what? We both went into that last week thinking we really don't have a shot to win this game. But
yeah,
we got more than we thought we were going to get.
And I honestly think that gave fans a great insight on how good this team really is. Sam wasn't blowing smoke off our rears. He was legit. He knew what he has in that stadium back there.
Oh yeah.
It's just now they got to, take away some of the dumb mistakes that, coming out with your best WWE slam of the week. You can't do that mess anymore, man.
You know what? That was disappointing. I forgot all about that. What are you thinking?
I know. And the thing is that Xavier Sori is not some freshman out there trying to make his bones. I mean, he's a seasoned guy that came from Georgia. And not only has he's seen a lot of playing time, I mean, he's seen really big time, big stage moments. That was a big time, big stage moment. And it was like he lost his mind for just a second.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. And you can see the hip thrust.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Like, no, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, those little mistakes, hey, we learn from it, hopefully.
I think so, too. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break here. And on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit about Raven Caldwell and the rest of the former Arkansas Razorbacks that were inducted into the Arkansas Hall of Fame this weekend. This is the Arkansas Pregame Show here on hogville.net YouTube channel. Thank you. And everybody, welcome back here to Torchys Tacos here in Fayetteville, just off of Martin Luther King Boulevard, just right down the road from Razorback Stadium. It looks like it's kind of thinning out a little bit here. Folks are starting to head up to the hill and get ready to call the Hogs and see if they can take down the UAB Dragons today.
Yeah, who knows? We might get a second wave in here. It's still early.
They might get a second wave around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon after this game's already been decided, possibly. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That would be great. So I want to talk about the Arkansas, the 2024 University of Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame inductees that were introduced last night at Walton Arts Center. And this afternoon they were inducted in front. Well, they're going to be inducted in front of 74,000 folks in Razorback Stadium. And I'll go through the list really quick. Wendy Willits, former Razorback women's basketball player. Devin Wallace, she played softball for Arkansas. Coach Dave Van Horn, he's being inducted. Kareem Reed, loved that dude. I'm telling you, the guy from Bronx, man, he was the best. I always remembered him because you always wondered who was going to take Corey Beck's place when Corey left. And Nolan found really the perfect guy that not only fit Arkansas system, but fit the floor general that Nolan wanted. That was really an extension of his own personality.
Right.
And I think that he was probably the best person to come in after Corey left.
Yeah, Kareem was good. Kareem was that guy that whenever the other two superstars they had went cold, he was the one that would slow it down or take it to the hole until they got back on rhythm.
It was.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is that he was part of that Sweet 16 run in '96 after they had just lost the previous year to UCLA in the national championship. And they lost in Sweet 16 to UMass and John Calipari.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. It was such a defeating part because I think UMass actually got up because that was the Marcus Camby crew. And they went up, I think it was like 14-0 right from the jump. And I just remember sitting there as a kid going, man, I hate my Razorbacks right now. This is killing me. I'm going to cry. Matt Jones, former Razorback quarterback, he's being inducted today. Matt Hemingway, which men's track and field from '92 to '96. Posthumously, Alex Collins is being inducted today.
Okay.
Last year, Ryan Mallett was. This year, Alex Collins. And then a guy that you might kind of know, I think you played a little bit with him, Raven Caldwell Jr.
Raven Caldwell, Caesar the booty squeezer. Yeah. Raven took me to my freshman year. I just got up here on the hill.
Yeah.
He took me to a toga party.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I didn't even know what a toga party was, but
did you dress out?
Yeah, he had a sheet I could wear. So, we put our sheets on, went over to the toga party, and had a good time. I mean, I call him the booty squeezer because that's what he was doing. So, but I tell you what, Raven is all my time up here playing. I've never had to block anybody that was harder to block than Raven.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just this cat was ridiculous, quick, strong. Yeah, I'd rather block a 300-pounder than to block Raven.
Okay, my question. In a wrestling match, who would you rather take on, him or Limbo Parks?
Him.
Oh,
Limbo's head and shoulders better than we are when it comes to wrestling. Yeah. Raven will tell you that because we all wrestled a lot in the off season. Limbo was way ahead of everybody. Yeah.
That's all right. I had to give my Limbo Parks mention.
Well, he got his shot, so he's done now. we told him we'd get him on. He's gone.
Yeah, he called you right before the show, and you said just one thing, and I knew exactly who you were talking to. I was like, "It's Limbo Parks, isn't it?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got to get him on here always, man. Are there any? You have any stories from Raven's time here on the field that you could share with us that kind of just stood out head and shoulders above, that just put him in that different class of Razorbacks?
Most people, it's pretty easy to remember that story, but it was Raven every week though. So I mean, it was not one of those, man, I can't believe he did that. Raven did it every week. I mean, I'm telling you, you'd have to pull up some old game film and watch this guy. Like, did he just jump over the running back that's trying to block him? I'm like, I mean, it's Raven. We've come to expect it. I mean, he did stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
The dude was amazing. So there's not one that stands out that I can remember because he did it all the time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too, is that you look at all of the inductees, and you can say for just about any of them that they have had a memorable moment in Razorback lore that each fan can remember. And even if it was track and field, or if it was softball, or whatever it happens to be, whenever you have a teammate that gets inducted, they always have that moment that shines, that always sticks in not only teammates but also fans' minds, that lasts a lifetime.
Oh, I agree. I'm with you on that. I mean, but it's hard to say. It's hard to do that with Raven. I'm telling you, that dude did stuff like that all the time. I mean, so for one to stand out for me, I can't pick one. I can't remember just one that stands out above the rest of them.
So, do you have any good stories about Raven that you could share that was off the field?
No. Oh no, yeah, I do. I actually do. One just came up.
Okay.
I want to say it was what's it called, Row Week on campus, where the fraternities and sororities all doing their thing.
Yeah.
Raven comes back. We don't know which sorority house he got it from. A live goat.
Oh,
he kept a live goat in our dorm room. And I don't know how long the goat stayed there, but he had a live goat in the dorm room.
Did it smell?
No.
Really?
No. Maybe a couple of days later, but I only saw it the first day.
Oh.
So, you know.
Somebody may have pulled a midnight mission and got that thing back, too.
He may have, but yeah, he had a live goat in the dorm room.
Okay, was it very loud?
No, because I'm gonna say no because nobody really complained. I didn't live that close to Raven, so I couldn't have heard it anyway. But it may have. I mean, I can't remember who was Raven's suite mate, so no, I don't know if it was loud or not. But
okay, so I have to ask this: how the hell did you find out about it?
Oh, I went over there.
Okay.
I went to the room. I mean, hell, we walk down the halls a lot, and we'll stop by each other's room. I just stopped by the room one day, and there was a damn goat. Raven wasn't even at home. The goat was in there, but Raven wasn't. So, like, wow. Yeah, Raven.
Okay, so what were some of your teammates' reactions when they saw the goat in the room?
I have no idea. I was by myself when I stopped by there, so I couldn't tell you what anybody else thought. I can't remember who was with Raven because, I mean, he wasn't by himself when he went and got it because we found out later on someone else was with him, but I don't know who that was.
Okay, so did you pet the goat?
No, I didn't.
You just looked at it, left, and said, I can't deal with this?
I'm like, okay, Raven's not here. I'm going to go look for Raven and find out what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, was it a situation where if you saw the goat and Raven wasn't there, do you definitively think, okay, Raven did this, or did somebody messing with him?
I didn't think of anybody else doing it but Raven. I mean, I guess someone could have did it to Raven, but no, I guess it was Raven.
All him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go over some SEC college football games of the week so far. And we'll go over here. We'll go over these really quick. We'll go to a quick break, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Arkansas kicks off at 3:15, which is just about an hour and 15 minutes away. So this afternoon, you've got Alabama and Wisconsin. I think that Alabama kind of found their stride last week against University of South Florida. They struggled last year. This year, they didn't have really any problems. I really see Wisconsin. Let's see here. That's game. Oh, it's 11 a.m. I got to refresh this. I bet this thing's about damn near over.
Yeah, that game should be close to over.
Should be close to over already. Well, it might have been over the first quarter, honestly.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
35-10, Alabama, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Well, hold on, 41-10.
Hey, I'm surprised to see LSU came back. They looked like they didn't look that great the first half of the first quarter.
Well, and honestly, Shane Beamer and his squad, they kind of turned it around after that butt kicking that they got from Old Dominion.
Okay.
The 5-point win at home against ODU. I mean, I'm telling you, I know it's the first week, but I mean, damn, you don't think that'd be happening, but they went down to Kentucky last week. They shellacked Kentucky, but now they're giving LSU everything they can handle and more.
Yeah, they are.
This is Missouri's first true test of the season, which is against Boston College. Missouri is up by 10 with a $1:56 left in the third quarter. Do you think this is a test that Missouri needs right now, or is this a test that Missouri probably did not need right now?
No, I think it's something they need. I mean, you need to. I think you need to know early where you are, and this is a good test. Boston College. I mean,
top 25.
They're top 25. I don't think they're that good. That's my opinion.
So I'll give you this really quick, just this little nugget. So Boston College, Bill O'Brien's squad used to be with the Patriots, and then they've got a top 3 rushing offense and top 3 rushing defense in the nation this year. So them going into Missouri and holding their own, it speaks to volumes of what Missouri's able to do so far.
Is this Bill O'Brien's first year there?
Do you believe it's the second?
Second year?
Yeah.
As soon as he get all of his players, they won't be in the top nothing. I've seen that guy ruin a couple teams. I don't think he's very good at all.
Gotcha. All right, so we're going to go on. This is upset alert for me. Oklahoma hosts Tulane. Tulane gave Kansas State last week everything that they could handle. It took a late touchdown for K-State to win. Oklahoma last week beat Houston 16-14 at home. I see Tulane going in there and stealing one from the Sooners.
I hope you're right. I mean, there's not many teams I don't like. Oklahoma, I don't like. I lost my last college game to Oklahoma.
Okay.
I hope they lose all of them.
And now you've got the SEC game of the week, which is Florida hosting Texas A&M. ESPN, or not ESPN, sorry, the SEC College Game Day crew was there. Marty Smith and all of those guys. I really feel like Billy Napier is a dead man walking at this point. It's been rumored that the next loss that he has that's definitive, he's gone.
So Texas A&M, the first week they lost, right?
They lost to Notre Dame.
Lost to Notre Dame, which they shouldn't have lost.
Which
to
they
Notre
should
Dame.
not have lost.
They didn't look good at all.
No.
They came back. Who they beat last week?
Last week, I do believe.
Was it a top 25?
No.
Okay.
No, give me just 2 seconds here. I can bring this up.
Because I'm thinking that Texas
McNeese State.
I'm thinking that Texas A&M is probably going to lose a few more, and this may be one of them. I don't think they're that good.
Well, that would be interesting for Florida to start to turn it around a little bit with Billy Napier there because, I mean, I'm surprised he lasted last season, really, because the way that team performed, losing to Arkansas, I hate to say it that way, but losing to Arkansas at home in overtime.
Hey, there was a whole bunch of teams almost lost to Arkansas last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, we were only a score away from how many? One score away.
It was a difference between a 9-3 and a 4-8 season.
Yeah.
So 5 games.
There you go.
So we'll go to the Arkansas game here in just a second. You got Ole Miss traveling to Wake Forest. I think that Lane has got a team that can really rival most. And I almost see them as a dark horse as a national championship contender.
So you're saying this game will be over at halftime?
Maybe over the first quarter.
I hear you.
Over the first quarter. You've got Jeff Traylor, former Arkansas assistant at UTSA, taking on Texas at Texas. Listen, there's only a couple of days of the year that I love, and that's every day that Texas loses.
See, I'm not like that. I mean, I know everybody in Arkansas hates Texas. I'm from Texas. I like Texas. But Texas may be one of the most talented teams in the country right now.
They are.
If they stay healthy, it's going to be hard to beat them.
Deep. They are deep this year.
Yes, they are.
They're deep. You've got Vanderbilt traveling to Georgia State. Now, I know this sounds a little odd because you don't see an SEC school usually travel to a group of 5 school like this. But so Vanderbilt is an 8.5-point favorite. I think that if they win this weekend, they might crack the top 25.
They'll beat them by 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna mark that.
They'll beat them by 2
I'm
touchdowns.
gonna put that receipt on.
Okay.
You got Georgia traveling to Kentucky. This is probably the worst follow-up game that they could have against South Carolina, and hosting Georgia, I just don't see that. There's not much that Brock Vandergrift can do this week.
No. I mean, Georgia is Georgia, man.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as strong as they've been in the last 6 years,
Mhm.
but they're still Georgia, and they're still pretty damn good.
Yep. So you've got Auburn hosting New Mexico. A little quick tidbit: Peyton Thorne looked like he might not start this week. There's a little bit of dancing around with Hugh Freeze on that because of the performance that he had last week against Cal. So if they tried out a new quarterback, which I think that's going to happen this week, they've got a lot of turmoil, more so than maybe some thought, going into next week against Arkansas.
If he don't start today, by halftime he'll be in playing.
You can't also have Jarquez Hunter, top running back on the team, only get 16 carries, 3 in the first half, and expect to win.
Right.
They just can't do that.
Yeah.
All right, so last couple here, you got Mississippi State as hosting Toledo. I think that's going to be over pretty quick myself.
Yes.
Mississippi State doesn't look too bad. They lost a heartbreaker really to Arizona State last week, and they looked really. No, that was on the road, but at home, I mean, they looked pretty good in the first week. So
They did.
we'll have to see where that goes. Tennessee hosts Kent State. That's going to be over pretty soon. I really feel so, because with the way that Tennessee played last week against NC State on the road in Charlotte, it really wasn't a game.
Hey, we're talking Tennessee. That's Heupel, right?
Yep, Josh Heupel.
See, I'm still mad at him. He was supposed to play. He was supposed to be my quarterback on my competitive flag football team that we traveled all over the country and playing, and he backed out at the last minute on me.
Oh, that's
So I'm still mad at him.
that's dirty. That's dirty. Oh my god. You got to put a call in to him on that
Nah,
one.
they're good. He's actually a pretty damn good coach. Yeah.
And so you got Arkansas taking on UAB. The line at the first of the week was 24.5 points. It's moved 2.5 points to now 22. I think Arkansas covers, and I think that they cruise. Honestly, I think this is going to be over by halftime.
It should be. It should be. I think they've already proven that they come out the gate hard. The last 2 games, they come out the gate hard, playing damn good football. And if they do that again, yeah, you're right. It should be over at halftime.
Should be. All right, we're going to take one more quick break. We'll do the 2-minute warning, and then we'll get you guys out of here for Arkansas football. This is the Hogville.net Arkansas pregame show with Marshall Foreman here at Torchys in Fayetteville. We'll be back in just a moment. And everybody, welcome back to the 2-minute warning, final segment of the Hogville.net Arkansas pregame show with Marshall Foreman here at Torchys Tacos off MLK in Fayetteville, just right down the road from Razorback Stadium, which kickoff is just under an hour away. So what are some keys to victory today for Arkansas, and what's going to lead them to victory?
Ball control, no turnovers. Because I think, last week we lost the turnover margin, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had 2 or 3?
4.
4? We had 4?
Well, let me rephrase that. Had an interception and I do believe 3 fumbles, of which they lost 2 of the fumbles, so really 3 turnovers.
Okay, so yeah. You got to win the turnover margin, which even if we lose at this game, we still should win this game.
Mm-hmm.
But for them to win, just control the ball. Control the ball. And you know what? If you're gonna take your starters out in the second half and rest them, make sure they at least get conditioning next week or last week or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, because looks like after that first game, only playing one half, most of them.
I was really shocked that Sam didn't have Talon come out in the first series of the second half to have that carryover after halftime, because I feel like that really speaks volumes and making sure that you know what you need to do to your body at halftime to get that ready to come back out in the second half, because I really feel like he didn't have that last week.
Right. I mean, you want to do that. I mean, because you want to see what the player is going to do after that little break anyway. I mean, you don't know. You got a new quarterback. Everything he does is new to you.
Yeah.
What does he do third quarter? Well, we don't know. We didn't play him third quarter. He's new. Why didn't you?
Yeah, and I think that even if Arkansas is blowing out UAB at halftime, I really think that you're going to see Bobby make sure that he goes out there, at least the ones go out there for at least a sizable portion of the third quarter,
right,
to make sure that they continue the conditioning.
I would. I mean, hell, that's where most of your good teams that play these smaller schools early in the season, that's where a lot of them win the Heisman.
It is. It really is.
Where a lot of them win the rushing title. I mean, because they leave them in there and let them.
This is one of the things that Otis and I have talked about a little bit as well, is your team is not going to be the same in week 3 as it is in week 11, week 10, week 12.
No, not at all.
This is where you have to have these 2s and 3s play, because they're going to be asked to step up later in the season, because, listen, nicks, cuts, dings, those things happen. And you got to have some guys ready to step up. And this is where I think that they need to make those bones at this point.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he was thinking the first week. Okay, we got to get these second and third string guys in and play a little bit. Okay, by the time they have to play again, they're gonna forget.
Yeah,
because it might be 6-7 weeks before they get to play again.
Because you have to have that repetition. Because if you have the repetition, it gets ingrained. But if you have that stop, like you said, folks start to lose it a little bit, and it's like learning how to ride that bike all over again. And they have to keep continuing to do that this week.
Yeah, I mean, it is important to get those guys in the game and see what they do when the lights are on, because I mean, there is a big difference than scrimmage each other than there is playing a game with the lights on. Yep, when the lights come on, a lot of things change.
Guys,
some people get shy.
Guys hide. All right, so you got a score prediction for today.
This game, can I give you just a first half score prediction?
Yeah, give me the first half.
First half, I'm gonna say 28-3.
Okay, I have Arkansas winning 52-7.
Okay,
so we'll have to see how that happens. So this is the trivia question that we posed on Thursday night, and I haven't had anybody get the right answer yet for a $25 Torchys gift card. And that the question is, how many Razorback football coaches have left the school with a winning record in Arkansas history? I'm not going to give you the number.
Oh, no. When you say winning record that last season or overall?
Overall, when they left the school, they had a winning record. How many coaches since 1894 have left the school with a winning record?
I can name 3.
I bet you can too.
That's all I can name, though. I mean,
there's more than that.
But I can name
a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So, there's actually more than I thought.
Really?
Oh yeah. I ain't gonna tell nobody. So go over to Twitter, the Hogville Twitter page. The question is pinned at the top of the Twitter account. Go on there and put your guess out there. If you get the right answer, I'll get back to you, and we'll also get you hooked up with a $25 gift card from Torchys Tacos. Okay?
And if you Google it, we're gonna know.
You're gonna have to Google this one. You're gonna have to Google this one. All right, y'all. Take care. Hold on. We got a quick answer here. Let's see here. Hold on. Fishman says he can only name 4. All right, y'all. Take care, and we will see you guys next. In 3 weeks. It's gonna be 3 weeks. October 5th. That's my birthday, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Tennessee.
Should I hit you with the pod before or after the podcast?
Oh, after.
Okay.
After.
All right.
You want? No, she want to carry the show too.
No, we're not there yet.
All right, y'all take care, and we will.
I'm Robin, not Batman.
Y'all take care. Make sure to go over to Twitter to throw up your guests, and we'll get y'all taken care of. This is the Arkansas Pregame Show with Marshall Foreman. I'm Jason here at Torchys in Fayetteville. I want to say thank y'all for joining us today, and go Hogs.